sweet friends. Thank you so much for stopping by today. My name is Becky and welcome to Kinda Shabby. I love sharing all things DIY and decorating, and if you enjoy those things too, please subscribe and tap the bell to receive all notifications as I upload new videos every week. Now today it is going to be all about springtime stamping fun. And if you're ready to get started, join me in my craft room. Okay, I have the cutest little springtime crafts to show you using the Iron Orchid Designs Decor Stamps. I'll be using the bunny from the farmhouse stamp. I'll be using several of the laurel wreaths and the bee and the crown from the Queen Bee stamp set. And I will also be using letters from the Typesetting stamp set. These are so fun to use. You have so many different things that you can actually stamp and use them on. So I can't wait to show you some of the ways that we're going to make cute little springtime crafts with these. We're going to have some tea towels. How cute are those? We're also going to be making a book page banner that says spring. I've already gotten started on this, but I will show you the last two letters. I didn't want to bore you to death showing you how to do all of those. Then we're going to be making a cute little personalized monogrammed candle wrap. So I'm so excited to show you how to do all of these, but before we get started, let me also share with you some of the other things that you'll need as you're doing the process here. Of course, you've got your stamps. You're going to need a variety of inks. There are several different brands of inks that I like, but today I will be using the Ranger Archival Inks, and I like them because they are permanent and they are waterproof. You'll need paper towel and baby wipes, and you'll also need a bowl of some soapy water, so as you're finished with your stamps, you're going to wipe them off and then you're going to put them in the soapy water because you don't want the ink to stain the stamp. You don't want to lose the fine details on the stamps by just using them and never washing your stamps. So it's important to properly care for those. So that is what you're going to need to get started. So let me adjust the camera angle, bring you in a little closer so you can actually see the process, and we'll get going. Now we're going to finish off stamping the book page wreath. When you get your stamp sets, they come with the mounting plastic that the stamps are actually stuck to, and then there is a clear plastic cover. Many times when I am stamping, I will use this clear plastic cover as a stamping block. I'll put my stamps on there and then move them around and stamp from that. But I also like to use these little quilting squares that I picked up from Walmart. It's very easy to line up your project because you've got the grid on here, so it's just easier to see the placement of the stamps. I'm also have a cute little laurel that I'm going to be using as well, just not showing up right now because I don't have any ink on it. So what I'm going to do is put these together just so I can make sure my letters are all going to be on the same height from the bottom of the book page. Okay, so that looks about even there. I can move that out of the way. Put my little bow where I want it. And what I'm doing is laying down the actual surface that I will be inking, and I'll show you what I'm talking about in just a second. I'm lining up this edge and this edge on the actual book page itself, And when I push down, those little stamps came up on it. So now I can apply my ink and stick it back down, and I know that it's going to be centered on the page correctly. So we're going to do the N, let me move that for just a second, in Aquamarine. That's the color here for the N. Okay, I think I want the bow to be this pretty red, and this color is called Geranium. And get a baby wipe here, because this is where this comes in handy. I have a little bit where I overshot the ink there, so I'm going to wipe that off so it doesn't get anywhere else. And then this ink, the green here, is called Fern Green, and I'm going to ink all along that laurel. And you can see that shows up much better when it has ink on it. So now I'm going to bring my page back down here, turn this over, line up this edge and this edge to this side and this side of the paper, and we're going to push down. And you want to make sure that you don't slide it around so your image stays where you place it. Kind of walk your fingers all around that design to make sure you've got good ink transfer from the stamp onto the surface that you are stamping. So we're going to take this and we're going to move it straight up. And look how cute. Oh my goodness, I love these. Let me set that to the side. We're going to take our baby wipe. I'm still going to use the laurel wreath, so I'm going to leave that where it is. But I'm going to wipe off the N and also wipe off the bow with my baby wipe. Rub them a little bit with the paper towel and then place them in my bowl of soapy water. I already have some other stamps in there from where I already started the word spring. We're going to do the G. So again, I've got my laurel still on there. Move that over to the side for a second. I'm going to bring the S down here. And again, I'm just going to line them up, just making sure, let me move that out of the way for a second, that I'm going to have them centered properly and that they're up about the same distance from the bottom. And that looks good. Put my rose toile, and how beautiful is that? It looks like I have that a little high, so let me turn it that way some. All right. And again, I'm going to be taking this edge, placing it along the bottom and the side. And now everything is where it needs to be. I want it to match the S, so I'm going to do the G and the rose in the color. This is Vibrant Fuchsia. That's what that is. And you can see I got a little bit of the pink on the laurel, so we're just going to take our baby wipe and wipe that off. We're going to grab our green and stamp our laurel. And we're going to place the edge against that edge there and push down. And it's that easy. Just making sure that you cover your design so you get a crisp imprint throughout your design. There we go. Oh, that looks so good. So that is our spring book page banner. Let me get this cleaned up and then we'll head on over to stamping our tea towels. Now we're ready to get our tea towels going. What I use for these are the flour sack cloths that I buy at Walmart. I always wash them in normal detergent, but don't put any fabric softener in them if you're going to be stamping them. Then once I get them washed and dried, I will iron them, but I don't iron them using the steam feature if I'm going to be stamping them, because you don't want any moisture in there when you're stamping. You don't want your ink to run. Then I fold them how I want them and iron it down so I get a good idea of how large an area that I have to work with when I stamp my design. When I did this stamp, I had these cute, I love using these, love the laurels. So I'm going to be using laurels. I'm going to be using this gorgeous bee, and I'll also be using this crown. And what I do is I place them how I want them first. Put my bee, and I'm putting them image side down. Need to move that over, and you just play with your design until you like it, until it looks pretty even to you from either side. I'm pretty pleased with how that looks. So again, now that I have all of my stamps laid out on my surface, I take this, excuse me, and lay it along the hem and put this line where it says 4 inches right down the middle of the design and push down. Then when I pull up, I have all of the stamps where I want them. And I see where I've ironed on both sides, so I know how I'm going to be able to center my design. And I do want this to look a little vintagey, so the color that I'm going to use for this one is called Coffee. Roll that up. Let me do that so you can see. And you just stipple that on. When you are doing fabric, you want lots and lots and lots of ink. So you want to really, really load that stamp design with ink. Just keep going over that surface until it is just covered in ink. So you see, I am just really making sure this is covered with a lot of ink. Take my wipe the excess off my hands, wipe the excess off the outside of the design. Pull this back down. And now we are going to be applying our stamp with lots of firm pressure. Hover over that. Make sure it's centered. Align that with the hem. And we are going to just hang out here for a little bit. It takes a few minutes for the ink to actually soak into the fabric, and that's why when you're washing these, you don't want to use fabric softener. Fabric softener prevents proper ink transfer. So we're just going to hang out here for a while, and we're going to take our fingers and we're going to really make sure that that ink is soaking into that fabric to give us a beautiful, crisp design transfer. And when we lift straight up, oh, look how beautiful that is. So vintagey looking. I just love it. Now we're going to let this dry for 24 hours. And then we're going to heat set this, because once it's heat set, then it is machine washable and dryable. But oh my goodness, is that not just gorgeous? Oh, I love it. Now it's on to the candle wrap. So of course, we're going to need a candle, and you'll make your wrap according to the size of your candle. So I'm going to be taking a piece of craft paper, and I just get this in a bundle at Walmart. And what I want to do is measure how far down I want my wrap to start. So this looks like about a 1/2 inch from the top here. So I'm going to make a mark a 1/2 inch from the bottom. Put it in my handy dandy little paper cutter here and trim it down. So when I put it on there, you'll see that I have about a 1/2 inch from the top and the bottom of the candle that we'll be showing. And bring you in close again so you can actually see what I'm doing. So this is going to be a monogrammed candle wrap, and my last name is Denmark, so I am going to start, of course, with the letter D. And I'm just going to lay that down on the craft paper piece here that I've cut to size to my candle. And I'm also going to be using this same cute little vine that we used in our other spring design for the banner. And I'm going to lay that there and there to make sure, yep, that's going to work. Okay. And I'm going to have to restamp this a few times because you see this doesn't cover all the way down here. And I'll show you how we do that as well. I'm going to line this bottom edge here down to the bottom edge of my candle wrap and just lightly press down. And then when I turn it over, of course, the side that I want to ink is facing up. And I want to use black for this. When you are pressing on paper, you don't need as much pressure as you do when you're stamping on cloth. So I'm going to line that up, lining up the bottom of the quilting square with the candle wrap. And I am going to apply light pressure, but I am going to lightly just go over the area of the design because I want the detailing to show up. But if I push too hard on paper, I am actually going to distort the image. Now we're going to lift straight up. And it's so cute. Now I'm going to take my vine and lay it lengthwise this way, put my D out of the way, and see where I need to come in and just fill in. So the vine stopped here, so I want to continue it like that. So I'll push down there and lift up. A little bit of ink on the craft table. It just wipes right up. And then I want to finish the design over here. So I see that that needs to be inked. So I'm going to ink it up over here. Because when I ink it up over here, I'm going to continue the design right there. And just apply pressure only in that area because I don't want to push anything else over here because I've already inked that. And lift up. So you can see now it goes all along the length of our wrap here. And I'm going to do the same thing for the bottom. And when I line it up this way, I want this part right here, this little swoosh part, to go underneath the letter D here. And the good thing about the quilting squares, of course, they're see-through. You can see right through them. So you can see where your design is. You can see where your previous design is. You can see what you're stamping on. I really like using these quilting squares. Looks so good. Get some excess off of my table here. And you see I've got a section right here that I need to fill in. That right there. So I'm going to ink this last section here to match up the design there. Isn't this fun? I'm telling you, if you buy these stamps, nothing will be safe. You will be stamping everything. So cute. Let me get that excess off my table. Oh my goodness, look how adorable that is. Now we're going to heat set our tea towels and we're going to finish off that spring banner. Heat setting the ink on our tea towel is a very simple procedure, but it really is necessary if you want to use this as more than just decor and you actually want to be able to wash and dry it without the ink fading. You will get a little bit of ink fading. If you just washed it without setting this, you'd wash the design right out. So you want to have some fabric protecting the top of your ironing board cover. Then you're going to lay out your design on top of that piece of fabric, and I just use scrap cotton pieces of fabric. Then you're going to take another piece of fabric and lay that over the top of your design. You want your iron set to the hottest setting. Mine is the cotton setting, and you want it to have no steam, no water. We do not want water anywhere near our ink. We don't want it smearing. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take that iron, you see your design underneath there, and you're just going to hold it, applying light pressure, and hold in place for a few seconds. We're not going to move the iron about in a circular manner like you would if you were ironing clothing. You're going to hold that still and hold that steady. Lift up and press down in another area right next to that one. And you're going to hold for about 15 to 20 seconds for each area. And we're going to do that, and we're going to cover the entire design that way. We're going to keep going back over the design in 15 to 20 second increments until we have heat set this for approximately 3 minutes. Now that's good. We have covered our design in various ways using 15 to 20 second increments of heat. Now we can lift this up. It actually makes the color a little brighter. Now this beauty can be washed in cold water wash, gentle cycle with no bleach. Look at that. Now let's get this book page banner finished off. So I actually went back and stamped that little vine at the top as well, because I just thought it made it look really cute to have the vine at the top and at the bottom of the page. We're going to take our twine, and my table is 5 feet long, so I'm just going to cut a piece that's as long as the length of my table. There we go, and I'm going to add about another foot to it. So I've cut about 6 feet long. I'm going to mark where I want the holes to be with my hole punch. And I'm going to need my glasses. So I want to mark it 1 inch in and 1 inch down. And just make a little dot where I want that to be. And I'll do that on all of the pages. All right, and then I'll just begin putting my hole punch where I've made my marks. Now we're just going to start threading through jute twine. Put some blue painter's tape on the end here, and we're going to go down. Tie a little knot in the end so you don't pull it all the way through. But we're going to take that down almost to the end, and we're going to bring it back up. Making sure that we're not going to tear our pages. We're going down. And come back up. That's what we have so far. Really cute. So far, so cute. Oh goodness. It's adorable. I'm going to remove the blue painter's tape. Tie a knot in this end as well. No springtime banner is complete without some tassels. And I will link the Shabby Bow tutorial in the description box below, because the tails for the Shabby Bow are actually what I use to form the tassels for our banner. I'm going to be using tiny 3mm ribbon, and this is a yarn needle, and it's just a big plastic needle, and it makes threading things such as ribbon really, really easy. So I'm going to pull off a little bit of that, because I'm going to use that to come through the center of my tassel, and I'm going to tie that on to the tassel, to the jute with the ribbon. Now I can cut that and then just tie it. And I'll do the same thing to the other side here. Okay, that is going to be so cute when we get this hung up with our little tassels. All of that is going to be just adorable when I do the beauty staging shots for you guys. Now for the last of the projects, we are going to be applying our candle wrap to our candle. And whenever I am working with something cylindrical, I like to just fill a gallon Ziploc bag with either dried beans or rice and lay my project in it. That way it is not going to roll away from me when I'm trying to work with it. So I'm going to lay my candle wrap, making sure I have it right side up, center it how I want it, and then I'm going to lay it face down into my bag of beans. I will be using crafter's tape, and it is a double-sided tape. That way I don't have to have any tape, anything like that exposed. It's all going to be hidden up underneath there, and it's going to just look so pretty. I'm going to roll that over. So I've crossed it over each other like that in the back. And I'm going to apply some tape to this edge here. And push that down. Now I see this little flap that I have right here. I'm just going to apply some tape right along that edge here and also at the bottom. And then I see where this edge is going to meet here, so I'm going to apply tape along that edge as well. So then when I press it all down, it just has a nice bond, and I'm going to put a little right there because it wants to lift up on that corner. So I'm just going to apply some to that corner. There we go. Move my little bag of beans. How pretty is that? And now to finish it off, I'm just going to take some little jute here, wrap it around a couple of times, and make a really cute little bow. And we're done. How cute is that? Now I have applied this to an actual real wax candle. I would not light this with our jute twine and our craft paper. This would cause a fire. We do not want that, especially if we're going to give this to a friend. So I would suggest, if you're going to use these and give these as gifts, to have your recipient put them on a flameless candle, a battery operated candle. So I'm going to get some beauty shots to show you how these look, all in a cute little vignette. I hope you found today's video to be fun, informative, and inspiring. Let me know in the comments below, what was your favorite project shown today? As you've seen, there are just so many ways to use these decor stamps. I will put a link in the description box below to the Iron Orchid Designs website. What I've shown you today is just a small fraction of all the beautiful products that this company offers. I will also add a link to the Iron Orchid Designs YouTube channel that features even more creative ways to use their amazing products. This isn't sponsored, I simply love stamping. As always, I appreciate each of you spending a little bit of your time here with me. I love all my subscribers and look forward to growing our crafty family here. Please remember to subscribe and also share with others who enjoy shabby chic crafts too. Come back next week for more springtime crafty inspirations. And until then, be blessed.